In this heartfelt episode, Monica talks about the emotional side of having two very different reactive dogs, having trouble at home between the dogs, and about how much fun and the connection she's building while she trains in this way. Hey there, welcome to Dogs with Big Feelings. I'm Christina Young, Certified Dog Behavior Consultant. I help people and their dogs go from frustrated, overwhelmed, and confused to confident, connected, and thriving. If you have an over-the-top pup and sometimes wonder if you're the only one dealing with this stuff, you aren't alone. And if you feel like you've tried everything and you still aren't sure how to help your dog, you're in the right place. Dream Dog is open for registration until July 27th. Monica, thanks for being here and thanks for agreeing to be on the podcast with me.
Christina, I'm super happy to be here with you.
Why don't you tell us all about yourself and your dogs and why it is you first reached out for training?
So, I have had dogs in my adult life for about 30 years now. I started out with a super easy breed, a bull mastiff puppy, because I saw an entry in a dog encyclopedia and went, "Ooh, that's the coolest dog I've ever seen." And so I was sold a puppy, a pet quality puppy from a breeder who I thought was a great person and knew everything. And she was a pet quality conformationally, but not a pet puppy temperamentally. She was a fabulous guard dog, but a really hard first dog. So I started out, I called the breeder and asked for help, and they sent me to a very traditional trainer that was Jerk the Chain. And she graduated top dog, but she did not like it. And we did not progress very far with that kind of training. She shut down. So, anyway, long story short, I was interested in training. I got into positive training, really enjoyed that with my bull mastiffs. It was a great way to approach things. I did obedience. Then I picked two dogs to be therapy dogs and did therapy work and crisis response with them. And then I got a rescue pit bull, and nothing I knew was really very helpful because she was very dog reactive. So I had to learn a whole lot of new stuff. And, it's hard in the city to find people who are much more than pet dog trainers.
Mm.
It was hard to find anybody who was really able to teach me things that I thought were really very helpful. So anyway, we then got Sergei, my American bully, at the beginning of the pandemic, and he was a whole new level of wow. He's been a whole new learning curve, but I still kind of felt like I could deal with things on my own. Retrospective, looking back, I could have used a lot of help from you earlier, and I wish I had. But we muddled through and just didn't have people at our house anymore. So it seemed like a reasonable solution. And then we got a little dog for my daughter to take to college, and he's just one of those dogs who gets along with everybody. So that was really seamless. And then we knew that our first rescue, Agnes, was in the process of dying, and we wanted to get another little dog so that Sergei wouldn't be alone. And we got Iggy late March, and it did not go seamlessly like things did with Titus. Iggy is, like Sergei, another dog with a lot of feelings about things, a lot of fear about the world. And at that point, I had never had two dogs who didn't get along in my house. I was used to dealing with arousal and stuff outside, but things were always peaceful in my home. And when it was no longer peaceful in my home, I found that really, really stressful. And a trainer that I had worked with said, I've never had multiple dogs. This is not something I can really help with, but here's someone who can. And she hooked me up with you. So that's a long way of getting to that. But so I bring a lot along on my training journey that has been helpful, but also has meant that I have things I need to rethink and relearn now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's good.
And, and you are doing amazing. You do so many great things with your dogs. We're just kind of fine tuning stuff and fine tuning your understanding of what they need and different games that they need.
It's a really different way of thinking. So I've said this to you before. I come to this from teaching behaviors and was really pretty good at that. But I now have dogs who teaching behaviors isn't getting to the root of what's making life difficult for them and for me. And so it's been a huge and really amazing learning process for me, I think, as much as for the dogs. I think they're probably going, God, she finally gets it. And I'm going, oh my God.
So rather than training behaviors, what do you feel like we're training together?
I think what we're training is how to be in the world.
Hmm.
And for both dogs, how to be in the world. And for Iggy, that comes from a place of I'm scared, so I'm gonna explode and growl and bark and act like I'm tough, but it's really because I'm afraid of everything. So helping him learn that he can cope with the things that he encounters in the world without me managing, directing, being in his face all the time. Because he'd be happy to be just like, I'm with you all the time, but
Yeah.
I don't want to go for a walk and be constantly managing.
Yeah.
So it's teaching him that independently, I know what I have within myself to deal with this situation. And it's kind of the same with Sergey, but coming from a little bit of a different place with him. He is super
Hmm.
high arousal. And I think that comes from a place of anxiety with him, but he builds and builds and builds and builds. And it's usually when he doesn't know what to do. So teaching him, here's something you can always do that's always the right thing to do. And it happens to be a calm thing to do. So I think what he's really learning is, oh, I can go do this thing that calms me down, and that feels better.
Yeah. I am loving your progress with him. I just think you and you know how much I love that big blockhead. Mm. Even though I've never met him, I mean, you're live in a different country, but I just want to smush that face. He is such a big, handsome brute, or medium-sized handsome brute.
It's a bowling ball on a rump roast is that's what Sergey is me physically.
He's very, very handsome from the right angles.
Yes.
Before we started working together, how was the dog's behavior affecting your relationship with the dogs?
I felt a lot of frustration with Sergey a lot of the time. So I felt impatient with him. He's very vocal when he's frustrated. We had gotten past the point where I felt like I was gonna get bitten in situations, but he would start to get over the top with my husband and get bitey, and my husband would get frustrated, and then I'd get frustrated with my husband because, "Why are you so arousing to the dog? Why can't you figure this out?" And I just wanted Sari to stop, and I couldn't figure out the steps to get him there, so all I
Mhm.
could see was, "The thing that I want is for you to not be this." And I was frustrated because with all of the training experience I had, I couldn't figure out how to break that down into steps to get there. It seemed impossible.
Yeah.
I just felt really irritated with him a lot, as much as I love him. And it didn't feel good for me. And I know it didn't feel good for him.
Yeah. That kind of conflict and that kind of stress really is going to affect all sorts of aspects of your life, including the relationship you have with your dog.
Oh, for sure. And I'm sure he felt that from me. He
Hmm.
didn't feel good about himself. And he's a super sensitive dog. If he weren't so high arousal, he would be an amazing therapy dog because he is so attuned to human emotions. So I'm sure he felt that from me and felt bad about himself. And I don't want him to feel that way. But like I said, I just didn't see how to get out of it.
Yeah.
And then with Iggy, I felt really excited about this new little dog because he's fun and he's funny and he's cute and he's jazzy and he's really into training and felt like, if we can work through this confidence stuff, he's this little dog I can do all the things I want to do with. I can do rally if I want to. I can do nose works if I want to. And he really felt like my dog and my buddy. And he was bullying Sergey in the house. So I was simultaneously afraid he would get himself killed and irritated with him for causing conflict with Sergey that Sergey wasn't asking for, and irritated with Sergey for being the object of that conflict. And so, yeah, I felt irritated and like I couldn't go anywhere with these dogs, like in my journey with my dogs, like we were just stuck.
Yeah.
Uh,
And how are you feeling today? How are you feeling right now about your dogs?
I feel like we're moving forward in exciting ways, and I feel like I don't have to overthink what that is. I feel much more flexible, like, this is what's happening today, let's see if this works, and I feel like I can try things with them without failure in that moment, meaning that nothing's gonna work. It just means that thing didn't work right now. So I feel like they have tools and I have tools, and it's not like we've reached some nirvana of peace in my but I feel like we're all working together, and I feel like the dogs both feel better about themselves, and they
Mhm.
feel better about their relationship with me, and they feel better about each other. So, to me, that means, okay, it's not perfect now, but we're moving in a positive direction, and I feel like movement is possible.
Yeah. Less stuck.
For sure. I don't feel stuck at all anymore,
Good.
actually. Like, sometimes before, like, you would say, "Okay, so this is what you're gonna do," and I'd feel either like, "Why am I doing that thing? I don't see where this is going." And now I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay, I can see what this is building towards," and it's just really freeing. I feel really free to try things with them, and free for things not to work, and free to readjust, and it's like I did some kind of major mental training yoga, and I have all this flexibility now that I didn't have before.
Wonderful. Well, I love seeing your training videos. Um, you're always so positive with your dogs, and you always look like you're having so much fun with them.
Well, and that's something that I've gotten from this too is being able to have more fun with them. And then it's more fun and more relaxed for them. Because I used to have this idea that training meant I went out and I did 45 minutes of healing and sits and blah, blah, blah. And, if it wasn't perfect and I wasn't seeing that the sit got better by the end, then we weren't progressing and it was stressful. And now I'm working on stationing a lot with Sergei. Well, you station while I wash the dishes. And I'm doing multiple things and it's helping you and it's helping me and it's making my life easier. And it's also helping with getting into the car. And it is helping with if I'm doing rally training with you, that you have that place that you can go to that's always the right thing to do. I
Mhm.
just see how it's building on itself and working in little snippets of things into my day-to-day routine has taken the pressure off of training too, but I'm also seeing results that are beyond what I could have expected.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Your updates are fantastic.
Thank
Um,
you.
on that note, let's pick Sergey first. What's
Mhm.
a win with Sergey recently that you're proud of?
Big win with him was last Sunday when I cleaned up the cabin and packed up my car, and he never got aroused. He was able to station the whole time. Even when I was loading things into the car and I loaded him into the car so that he could just be in there for a few minutes with a chew while I finished cleaning up in the house, no barking. And then we had 4 days of no barking in the car, um,
Nice.
which feels amazing to me. And I know it does to him too, because I look at him and his eyes are staying soft.
Yeah.
I feel so much compassion because I realize how stressed he must have felt so much of the time before.
Mhm.
And so to see him feeling like, "Oh, yeah, I got this. I know what to do."
Before training, what did it look like when you packed up the car from the cabin?
I would literally just put him in the car because he would be so stressed out in the cabin or in the house that he would be barking and following me everywhere, and I couldn't have Iggy out, and he was stressing me out, and I would just put him in the car as a place to contain him, and then he would sit in there and bark.
Mhm. This is a
And
huge jump.
it's huge. It's huge. I mean, literally 3 weeks ago, I didn't think we could be here, and it started just with teaching him to lie down and wait while I was getting dressed. That's how
Mhm.
far back we went, and I didn't know how to break those things down into increments where he could be successful before we started working together. All I could see was the main big goal, and I couldn't break it down into smaller things
Mhm.
to be successful, and I think one of the biggest things I've learned in this time working together is how to really break things down, and Sergey's a dog who needs things broken way down,
Mhm.
um, and that's so much less frustrating for me because if all you're doing right now is lying on your bed while I grab my keys and put them away, We can do that. And before you start to rack up those successes, it's hard to see how that's gonna build into something bigger, but now that I can see that it's building into this thing that was this major source of stress for me and for him, I'm like, "Yeah, we'll do all the little foundation building you want because I see how it works now."
Yeah,
Um,
strong foundations give us strong end behaviors.
yeah.
Even if it takes a while to get there, once you have that foundation, the rest of it just flies past. It's so cool to see how fast it goes once we have the foundations.
It's amazing, and especially with a dog like Sergei, who goes up over the top so fast and has a
Yeah.
really hard time coming back down. To
And
learn to
he,
do that
yeah.
is amazing. Like, Iggy's fine. Iggy's patient, he can wait. Sergey can't, he gets anxious, and then that anxiety produces anxiety in me. So, it's been a great process for the 2 of us together, and I can see that he feels so much better about the relationship, and like I said, about himself, and that's really good to see.
And we've got a whole 2 more months left in Dream Dog.
I know, I know. Um,
Yeah, we're
I
four
wanna
months
sign up
in.
for the next one, though, because having the group has been fantastic too, because it's keeping me kind of accountable and on track, whereas otherwise it's really easy if you're not checking in on a regular basis.
Mhm.
Uh, and like, you've set it up so that the whole idea is we're sharing wins, which is the question you asked me a few minutes ago. It's so easy not to see those day-to-day little things, but when you've got a group of people that you're sharing with, and I was skeptical about doing something like this online before we started, but I have made more progress since we started this class in February, even than I made just one-on-one with you prior to that.
Mhm.
I think because seeing other people break it down, but also, like I said, that accountability and that ability to say, okay, this is the thing that happened right now today. What do I do about that? Has been great for me.
Yeah. I love the community aspect and the daily contact. Like if you have a problem today, unless it's one of my days off, I'm replying today, right?
Yeah.
And I can help you in the moment. And the community and seeing you guys all cheer each other on. And when someone has a bad day, going, oh, yeah, I've been there and sharing stories and just having that support. I think for myself, these small groups are so valuable. And this is how I learn now, too. I learn in a very similar group for myself and getting over that hurdle of, ugh, I don't know about a group for myself. Private's the way to go is a great way to learn.
Yeah, I think so too. In this group in particular, because it's people who are really serious about training their dogs, but
Hmm.
it's not a serious agility class or a serious rally class. I'm serious about having a dog who can really function in the world that I live in and helping my dog be mentally healthier, which is really, really hard to find. So
Yeah, they're a
that's
great group.
it's huge. It's been a great group. It has, and especially if you're coming with a dog like Sergey, who has a bite history, that's not something that you necessarily feel comfortable talking to people about. But to have people who are like, "Oh, yeah, I know that doesn't mean he's a bad dog. It doesn't mean you're a bad person or a bad trainer." Your average golden retriever person, nothing against golden retrievers, in a pet dog class is not gonna get that and get how isolating it can be.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, I always tell people like, when they're upset because family or friends or neighbors don't understand, you'll never understand what it's like living with these challenging dogs unless you have one. And for their sake, I hope they never do. I hope they never have to understand. It's not that people are choosing to be ignorant or choosing to be insensitive, it's that they really don't understand. So having a group of people who've been there, who get it, and being able to reach outside of your local community to get that, I think is really, really great.
It's awesome. Like I said, I've made more progress in terms of my own skill set and understanding and my dogs in what they can do.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty cool with a dog like Sergey to walk down the street and have him sit and just be calm and look at me while somebody walks past and they go, wow, that dog is really amazing. I'm like, you have no idea.
So let's get back to Icky for a second, because I know Sergey's made some huge jumps recently, so it's super exciting to talk about him. But what about Iggy? Is there a win with him that you're proud of?
Yeah, so what I'm seeing with him that I'm really excited about, one, he's doing great in his rally class, really
Yay.
happy to work in a new environment. After 1 week being in class, totally happy to just ignore the teacher. So I think that's really good for him. But the big thing I'm seeing with him is I'm using so much less food on walks with him. He's able to turn away from other dogs with just praise and touching. Which is really huge for him because his foster, when we went to visit him and adopted him, she kept saying, "I want you to really understand, he's, like, explosive around other dogs. Like, I want you to know that he just freaks out." And I'm like, "Okay." I had a bull mastiff. I've had a couple of bull mastiffs who were dog reactive. I had a pit bull who was dog reactive. I can deal with this. But she was really concerned about it because it wasn't something I think she had seen before. But, yeah, he was really like, I see a dog, I lose my mind, and he's just not doing that anymore. I think he really is learning that he has the ability to deal with the world. And I really see the work that I'm doing with him in the house with Sergei is providing a foundation for that outside in the world because I can let him have some uncomfortable interactions with Sergei now and work through it with me making sure I've got everybody under control, but not just picking him up and moving him out of the situation, but holding his collar and, "Okay, yeah, you're growling, you're uncomfortable, you're okay," and letting him settle down, and then I see him taking that out into the world. And I believe that we can get to a place where he can just be my buddy out in the world.
Yeah, I believe that too. He's a great little dog. He just didn't have any early learning about regulating his emotions and how to feel safe and how to, like typical small dogs that they learn, the only way to feel safe is to be very loud and
Mhm.
very assertive. And now we're teaching him how to feel safe in other ways, which is good for the little man.
Yeah, no, I think it's great for him, and it's really fun to go out and have a little dog who listens to me, and people are surprised by that.
So, what do you enjoy most about the dogs these days?
Well, I really enjoy going out and walking off leash with them, and I feel so lucky that I can do that because I don't take a lot of credit for their recalls. They both seem to just naturally be really happy to recall, and I think maybe that has something to do with being rescues and really not wanting to be separated from me. But it also, I think, shows that we have a really strong relationship and they enjoy being with me. And so being out off leash and seeing them both just look back and check in when they could just run off and they don't,
Yeah.
it's really awesome. And lately, just the past couple weeks, I've really been enjoying being able to have Iggy out on the couch when I sit and read and have him be able to do that is massive.
Yeah. And it's so nice when we get little dogs. We don't always get cuddly ones, but it's sure nice when they're snuggly and able to just hang out with us with the family.
Yeah, it's lovely. I had really big dogs, and some of them were cuddly, and sometimes that can be painful when a 150-pound dog isn't really cuddly, but, it's normal for a bull mastiff to also be aloof, so it is really nice. It's nice to be able to do that and have him not feel that that's threatening.
Yeah. With Sergei nearby.
With Sergey, yeah, that he
Yeah.
needs to either resource guard me or just be too worried about Sergey to really settle down and sleep.
Lovely. I love the pictures you share.
Yes.
So, do you feel more confident with the dogs now?
Yeah, oh, for sure. I mean, I think that my default 2 or 3 months ago was, "Okay, I'm just gonna put you in separate rooms with baby gates between you because I can't deal with this and I
Mhm.
don't know where to go." And so even just this morning, I overreached and did something that was a little bit more than either of them was ready to handle, so I had a bravery box on the floor. I wanted Iggy to go outside and Sergey to play with the bravery box, and so I needed to somehow get everybody stationed and then get food in the bravery box without anybody breaking and get Iggy outside, and they both were too interested in the bravery box, and I realized, okay, that was a mistake I made, that was too much for them, I haven't worked up to that yet, so again, that was being able to see, okay, I went too far, I need to break it down more and work with them on that before we
Yeah.
try that, but Iggy started to get a little snarly with Sergey as I was trying to send him out the door, and I just took his collar, and I took Sergey's collar, and I just gave Iggy a little wiggle and it's like, "You got this, bud, you're okay." And he
Yeah.
growled a little and his hair was up, but then I was able to send him outside and he was
Yeah.
okay and nothing happened. And I wouldn't have had the guts to do that a couple of weeks ago. It would just been, "Okay, I'm just gonna pick you up." which just escalates things for him.
Yeah,
And it's not teaching him anything. So I feel really empowered to try things.
good.
And I also have learned that sometimes things go awry and it's not the end of the world. I don't have two dogs who are out to hurt each other.
Mhm.
So if they do get irritated with each other, I feel pretty assured that they can do that without hurting each other because it's happened. And I've seen that we can recover from that.
Yeah.
So, I don't want scuffles to happen, but it has been really enlightening. And then actually go on a walk and act like nothing happened. Whereas for me, I felt like it was the end of the world.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a difference between a disagreement and an out and out brawl.
Yeah.
But as brothers, and both of them have big feelings, it's normal for them to disagree sometimes. And we just need to help them learn how to calm down from that, how to interrupt that. And of course, we're not setting them up to be able to do that regularly. But when things do go a little bit sideways, we can just fix it.
Yeah. And one, I had the community. I could go that day and say, this is what happened. And I feel really crappy about it. And I'm scared. But two, I could step back and go, okay, this is what I think happened. These are the things maybe I did that allowed that to happen. And this is what I can do going forward to get us back to where we were and move forward.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that before.
Yeah. You bounced back from it very well.
I was very surprised. Oh, yeah.
So, what would you say to somebody who's struggling with their dogs and maybe on the fence about getting help?
Oh, well, I mean, get the right kind of help. I think when you're struggling and you're stressed, you want something that's going to work fast. And that's really enticing. And I've seen people go to, what do they call them? The people who still do like, you still got the choke chain on, but you're also using, I've seen people who go to those harsh kind of trainers and everything gets way worse and they're way more
Yeah.
stressed. And what I would say is real change takes time, but it's real change
Mhm.
and it sticks. And so get the right kind of help and commit to it, and you will get there.
Yeah.
Uh, and hurting your dog, scaring your dog is not a part of achieving real change. It may look like it in the short term, but it's worth the time. And honestly, so I've been doing Dream Dog, well, it's been since February, so 2.5 months, something like that.
Yeah.
I've made more progress with Sergei in that amount of time than I had in the 6 years that we had him before that. So don't hesitate. It's worth it. And the funny thing is, it was a lot of work mentally getting to the point of starting, but it hasn't felt like that much work actually doing it. And I'm having fun.
Good.
So it feels
Me too.
even less like work because I'm having fun and they're having fun and everybody's more relaxed. So there's been no downside.
Good. I absolutely love watching everyone's progress in the group. It's so fun to watch how everyone changes and how the dogs grow and how the people grow and all the videos and the pictures and everything. I feel very lucky to have the job I have.
Well, I think we all feel super lucky to have you and to have the opportunity that you've created with this class. I've never seen anything like it. And like I said, I've done group classes, in-person group classes and in-person private classes somewhere else or at my house. And it was a little hard to see coming in how this was going to work well, but it's been really amazing. And I think part of it for me is it takes that in-person pressure off of me and the
Mm.
dogs. Like, I
Mhm.
don't feel like I'm having somebody watching me while I'm screwing up, which ironically makes it easier to share when I do screw up, but
Mhm.
also makes it feel like it's easier to experiment with getting to where it works.
Yeah. Love that. I love that thought. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about it that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and especially for dogs like Sergey and Iggy, who I don't have people in my house because it's hard for both of them.
Mhm.
And if I'm trying to train with somebody and I'm worried that Sergey's going to bite them and I'm embarrassed and I'm trying to control him, My mind is not in the place that it needs to be
Yeah.
open for learning. So you can't learn when you're scared. And we talk about that with the dogs, that learning doesn't happen when there's fear. But that's true for us too. So if I'm embarrassed and I'm scared about what my dog's going to do, I can't really learn what I need to learn to help him.
Mm-hmm.
So this has been a great environment for that.
Yeah. Prior to the pandemic, I never would have thought of teaching dog lessons for like serious problems, reactivity and aggression in intra-household. Teaching that stuff online, I'd be like, that's insane. You can't do
Yes.
that.
It sounds
Um,
crazy.
but the progress people have now with online versus in person, I think online, for the reasons you were just saying, the way to go when you have the right setup. In fact, I think 4 of the people in Dream Dog are local to me, and we do
Mhm.
online versus in person because it's
Yeah.
so productive that way.
Yeah. I can see that. And I think if you were closer to me, I'd wanna meet you. I'd want you to meet my dogs because I think they're awesome. But I think I'd wanna continue doing training this way too.
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a lot of the pressure off, and you can do bite-sized pieces. You don't
Mhm.
have to do a whole hour. I'm not
Yeah,
likely to drive to your house for a 5-minute lesson.
right. Yes. We
But
spend that
yeah.
entire 5 minutes just trying to get you through the door anyways.
So let's wrap up, but tell us, what are your favorite things about Sergei and Iggy?
My favorite thing about Sergey is how hard he tries. I'm gonna get teared up. He's a really hard dog. He's the hardest dog I've had. I have really wondered why I have this dog many times, but he never stops trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And he's so emotionally sensitive, which is part of what makes him hard, but it
Mhm.
also makes him incredibly compassionate. So I watch him. He's actually my daughter's dog, and I watch him with her. He got her through high school and off to college. And if she's upset, if she cries, he either clowns until she laughs or he just squishes himself against her.
Aw.
And it's just so, so sweet.
Yeah.
So I love that about him. And I feel for him how hard it is to be a sensitive being in the world.
Mhm.
And he deserves to have that sensitivity given back. And I think I'm getting to a place where I'm doing that for him.
Mhm.
Iggy is just cute and fun and energetic, and he's really into me, and he makes me feel like the best person on the planet, which is, wow, that's egotistical, but it feels amazing. So,
Yeah.
just super fun to train with. We go to our rally class, and even though it's only his second one, he's the jazziest dog out there on the floor.
Yeah.
He makes me laugh every day. Just a funny little guy. So,
Yeah, Iggy has that it factor. If he was going on like America's whatever those American
yeah.
Idol or whatever thing, he'd be like, "Yeah, you've got that it factor. You're a showman."
Yeah, he is. He's out there being jazzy. So, yeah, he's a lot of fun. And it's really fun to be able to jazz him up without worrying that it's gonna go over the other side and turn into biting somebody. So I'm really enjoying that.
That is such a nice thing to be able to do. Take your dog to a class, get them excited, and not worry about them eating someone.
It's so nice.
Is there anything else you would like to tell the people before we wrap up today?
Just that developing the relationship with your dog this way is so worth it. I mean,
Mhm.
I feel like I'm in conversation with my dogs all the time now. They know what I want them to do just by me moving my body around. And I know what they need and want just by the way they look at me and the way they move their bodies around. And that's an amazing feeling.
Yeah, that connection.
What connection and just making life easier is great and it's worth it. But to feel like you're really with another being is,
Mhm.
I mean, that's why I want dogs in my life. And it just feels great every day.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story. And I will see you online very soon,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
We'll keep training. Thanks, Christina.
And that's a wrap for today. Thanks for being here. Life with a big feelings dog isn't always easy, and I'm really glad you're part of this community. If this episode helped, share it with someone else who's in the trenches. and head over to positive.dog for more support. And when you're ready to go deeper, check out my program Dream Dog. It's built specifically for people with dogs who have big feelings. Join the waitlist to be the first to hear about our next enrollment. www.positive.dog/dreamdog. See you soon.